Unsyndicated presents Off the Air with Sean Baligian.
I'm going to get it out of the way right now so nobody else bothers Blake about this, okay? Blake, how is your house? I hope it is comfortable and you aren't sitting there just sweating like a pig.
It's not bad. We're at a nice 72 degrees, I believe, last I checked. We got the window AC units. We got 3 of them in our house now.
Good for you. Good.
So we got one in the bedroom, one in the living room, and the one in the living room's like one of those big portable units.
Mm-hmm.
So that cools most of the house, and then I put one in the back of the house in the kitchen. So everything is at a A1 temperature. We are good to go.
That makes me happy.
Before you get into anything else, I didn't get a chance to talk to you yesterday. First of all, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir.
And did you have a good Father's Day?
I did nothing. It was great. It was exactly
that's what dads want.
Well, we were talking about that during our little wacky pregame show that we'll get to momentarily on Saturday. Normally it is let's do whatever you want as long as it's go to the restaurant that we want to check out or go do this or go do that. And I've joked about this for years. Do you know what I want? Like seriously, every Father's Day. I want to cook something myself. I want to sit on the couch and watch the Tiger game. I want to sit on the couch in the case of yesterday and watch the U.S. Open. I might nap a few minutes, but that's all I want. I don't think it's asking too much, young Blake. And I did most of that yesterday, so it was good. Thank you very much for asking. You're a kind human.
I grilled up beautiful steaks for my father.
Did you really? I bet your dad was happy.
Killed it. And then we did have you done take a whole bunch of potatoes and you put some onion and butter and you wrap them up in tin foil and you just put them on the top rack of the grill and you just let them cook for like half hour.
And
they start to caramelize and everything.
Talk to me,
Sean. When I tell you, they turned out incredible. And then and then my wife did up some corn too. So we did the full barbecue. It was great. He loved it. And then I took him for ice cream after.
That makes me happy. I did go like I was like a 10-year-old. My family was laughing at me because like I announced like right before it started getting good. I said, I'm going to run up to the little place near our house, Custard Time in Northville, and I'm just going to get a flurry with double cookie dough. I turned into a 10-year-old. I went up there, got my flurry with double cookie dough, and then watched the rest of the U.S. Open, which, our boy Mike Fay called it a couple weeks back. He liked Bryson. That's exactly what happened. The way it happened was a little weird, as we know. I think we're going to be talking about Bryson in the up and down on 18 for many years to come, and I think we're going to be talking about Rory and the missed putts for many years to come as well. So that's the way it goes.
You know how much I watched of that?
How much did you really? You didn't watch any? It sounds like my NBA watching. I like honestly, I have not watched a second of the finals. I think I'm going to tune in once we're done with this dumb thing tonight. But I don't know. I can't like if I'm watching the Tigers. I guess I forgot about it. Oh, congratulations, the Celtics won the title. That type of thing. So.
Yeah, I've actually surprisingly watched every finals game.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Like, are you in its entirety type of stuff?
For the most part, yeah. Like, one of the games I only caught the second half. I think unfortunately it was game 3. But yeah, no, I've pretty much watched every game in its entirety. And I've enjoyed it. Hasn't been bad. Luka crying about everything, but Boston is so good. They're so deep. It's incredible.
Well, this was one of those things before the playoffs started. I mean, clearly they were the team to beat. I mean, make no mistake about it. They were the team to beat. Eric, I know, was in Cleveland. He said, such a fun weekend in Cleveland, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Rolling Stones. Good for you. Ted still celebrating that Memorial Cup in Saginaw. Congratulations once again to the Spirit. Good evening. Good evening to you. Jason said Rory just walking out and getting on a plane out of Dodge will be talked about for years to come as well. Yeah. Did you notice his congratulations to Bryson comments came down today? And it's sad because I was kind of hoping he would end up at the Rocket, and it's not going to happen. He's going to take a few weeks off, he said, and everything. But do you know how much it pained him to have to say that? Like, he's exactly what golf needs right now, and I think we all know that. It killed him to say
He had AI write that.
Right? Yeah, AI. That's great.
Yeah, no, like I said, I did not watch a single second of it. Zero interest. I did the smart move as a not golf guy.
Mhm.
I muted the word golf on Twitter, so I don't even see any of it anymore. You could have told me anything happened, I'd believe you. I have no idea.
So wait a second. You can like mute like a word on Twitter?
Yeah. So like I've muted a few words. I muted golf. I've muted like when Game of Thrones was huge because I wasn't watching it and I could care less. I didn't need it on my timeline. I muted Game of Thrones and like dragons. I mute all those words and then you just don't see tweets that involve those words. It's fantastic.
I still have people tell me, and I'm sure that they're going to tell me in the chat, like you don't know what you're missing. Blake, I tried. I watched a couple episodes. When I see like grown-ups talking about dragons and dragon eggs, that's the quickest way to get me the hell out of there. And I've had people say, no, stay. You know who loved it? Joik Bell. Like Joik was like, dude, stick with it. You're not going to believe it. And I was like, I can't. I'm sorry. You lost me. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm with you. I couldn't agree more with you, dude. Ken said you need to make it up to Saginaw and Flint to see an OHL game, Sean. Ken, I think you and I have had this discussion. It still hurts to go to Flint. I'm not going to lie to you. That was my baby. That was the Whalers. So it still hurts. I have no problem going up to Saginaw. I love it going up there. I know the ownership team. I worked for them for a year. I wish I could have got up during Memorial Cup week, but it was a crazy busy week. But yeah, I have no problem with it. But listen, I know I've said it to you, Ken. It's weird that the team that I worked for so many years is sitting in Flint now. You know what I mean? I wish them all the best. I don't have any ill will towards them, but I'm not gonna lie. I miss the OHL. I miss going there on Fridays and Saturday nights. I'm praying that my old boss, who not only was my boss in Plymouth, but also with me when I worked in Carolina, I hope Mike Vellucci gets the gig down in Columbus. Unfortunately for Pascal, it is one of those things that, he took over a really bad spot, on the heels of the Babcock debacle. New general manager comes in. Of course, he's going to bring his own guys in. But I hope that my buddy gets it. I'm not going to lie to you. Eric said they have a rally house thought about going in there and asking for any Michigan Natty stuff. Are you talking about in Cleveland, Eric? That's the way it goes. Ted said, yes, we're still celebrating home opener with the banner raising September 25th versus Windsor. Complete 24-25 OHL schedule was released. That's pretty cool. Jason said, I've watched as much of the NBA Finals as Blake did the U.S. Open. Jason, you and I are, sorry, it doesn't do anything for me. I mean, nothing at all. Sorry, Blake.
And I think that is totally fair and fine. I've watched what you like and enjoy watching.
You're dumb if you don't like hockey. A wise man once told me that. You're dumb if you don't like hockey.
I agree, but that's, we all are entitled to our own opinions, and I think golf is incredibly boring.
Dude, I get it. I've said this, and it's funny. Jason and I were just talking about this. I love watching it. I do, especially the majors. No joke. That is not an exaggeration. That's why I enjoy doing the golf show with Jordan and Mike Fay, and at my former job, by the way, speaking of my former job, Blake, coming to us from 760 WJR, Mitch Album Show, and Sports Wrap. I enjoyed doing that golf show. I enjoyed it so much that we're doing one here. But Blake, I could not think of a bigger waste of my day than spending 6 hours at a golf course. I couldn't think of a bigger waste of my day. And I've said that to the guys that I work with. And if they're watching right now, I'll say it to you again. I cannot think of a bigger waste of my day.
That's what's brutal for me is, so like all of my buddies golf and all of the bachelor parties are golf bachelor parties. So I have to go sit on a golf course for 6 hours, and I legitimately don't partake whatsoever. So I've become like, we went to one in 2021. We went to Denver, and like it was like this PGA like super nice course, and I just paid a cart fee, and I just got to drive around the cart all day and drink and make sure everyone else had drinks and cigars and everything else. That's the move, I think, on a golf course.
Yeah.
You just live like through everything, but you're not a part of it. It's great.
No, listen, and same thing. I'm with you, guys. I mean, we know guys, especially in this business, that's their life. They want to go, if they have their druthers, they go every other day, and just not for me, man. You know what? If I got 6 hours, you know what I can do in 6 hours on my smoker, man? Are you kidding me? Do you know the work I could do? Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Did you see that spread I had the other night, dude? The brisket, I nailed it, Blake. I mean, I
Sean,
flipping nailed it.
I told you, I fucked up. Okay, I'll admit it. Put it in the jar. I fucked up. I should have came over with my buddy. I was at his house watching the game. My wife was, ironically, what she was doing. She was golfing, so for her dad for Father's Day. So I wasn't with her. I should have just came over. I messed up.
Oh, well. You know what we're doing tomorrow? I figured it out. I'm going to do some wings, and then I have, let's see, chorizo sausage, smoked sausage, and Dewey sausage, and of course, Rinaldi's Motor City sausage, which is my personal favorite. I think it's Mike's personal favorite too. Or the firecracker. You know what, Mike? If you're watching, bring some firecrackers over. And then,
Firecrackers are great.
Those are tremendous. Oh, see, to me, if you're going to call something a cheese sausage, you better load that mother bleeper with cheese. Like, and that's what I like. I mean, you got that heat explosion in there, but you got that good cheese in there. Get me all fired up. Some comments. Bill said, Rory, wide right, ultimate choke. Ken said, I completely understand. You would be amazed on how the Dort looks now. Pete was a great announcer as yourself. Thank you. That's very kind. Paul said, you are correct, Sean. About Valuch, Paul? I hope so. I think it's a great fit. I think it's a great fit with him and Donnie Waddell, a couple Detroit area boys down in Columbus trying to bring that franchise back. Ted said, why is it taking so long for Valucci to get a crack at an NHL head coaching gig? I was always impressed with him in Plymouth. I wish I knew the answers to that myself. I know that he was very close to 3 different jobs 2 summers ago. I know for a fact. And I'm not going to say which ones. If you think real hard, you could figure it out. But I know he was very, very close. You know, he obviously had a ton of success in his time in the OHL, and then he went and won the Calder in the AHL with Charlotte. It's the way it is, you know. Bill said the Oilers still have a pulse. More on that in a second. Rich said, good evening, fellas. Go Oilers. We'll see. Blake, I want to get to that in a second. Blake's hat is McDonald's spicy mustard dipping sauce color. Do better, Blake.
I don't know what. I don't know what I did to deserve that, Bill. I thought we were friends, Bill. This is the same hat that Jared Goff was rocking all season, and everyone loves him. What did I do wrong?
Rich said no hot brats from Friel. I haven't been able to catch up with Friel. We've been missing each other like for weeks. And Friel, if you're watching, come over tomorrow. Feel free to bring some hot brats as well. Bill said Motor Blanky sausage. I don't know if you've ever had them. Motor City sausage is awesome from Rinaldi's. Kirk, the coach, was there. Blake, you missed it. You should have come over. It was great.
I think the coach likes me more than you.
Everybody likes you more than me. Everybody likes the wall more than me. Why am such a shunned and hated individual? I don't understand.
True. Shut up. I don't want to play pity party for
Eric
Sean.
said, Sean, you always do it up with your food props. Thank you. I think, I've always been of the opinion if people come over your house, take care of them, right? That's always been my opinion.
You're a fantastic host. I will never.
That's
one thing I can't even make fun of you for. You're a fantastic host.
Dave, jalapenos grilled with mango pepper. So good. Ooh. Jason, Shauner was 6 hours of meats on the smoker while hand watering his lawn. That's a day. I got the smaller brisket that has a more uniform cook, right? About a 4-pound brisket. I got a couple racks on there. After a couple hours, I put on a whole bunch of wings, maybe, 60 different wings. That's a day.
Is that your perfect summer day right there?
Yeah. It is. I told you I miss like the crazy COVID summer thing when the NHL came back, like August 2nd or whatever the hell it was. Like Mike coming over to the house at like 7:00 in the morning and us like cooking. And then all of a sudden it's 12:30 and the games come on and we're all done. We've been cooking for 5 hours, or we're putting on like the long cook. Like, okay, I got the butt on there. The butt will be done at about 7:00 tonight for the 7:00 games. That was an everyday occurrence. Like it was tremendous. And it was one of those things people knew we were here. And I never invited anybody. I was like, you want to come over? Come over. And there were some days there were like 2 or 3 people there. There were some days there were like 10 people here. I go, just walk in the back, you know where my backyard is. Just walk through the backyard and hi, I'm here. And then I'd have to reassess if there were like 16 people sitting down in my basement. I go, well, I better go back to the freezer and put something on. Dude, are you kidding me? That's a great day. I
can't argue that.
Is there any way we can get the skipper on the show? Chris, that would be funny. You would love Darren, Blake. Can I get into, in just a second, Blake, I need to get into this whole idea of did the Celtics and did the Panthers throw Game 4 in their series? I think it's a bunch of crap. I do. And I want to get into that in just a second. But of course, we have to talk about our friends. And let's start with our friends from Legacy Partners. We appreciate everything they do. And yes, I was keeping tabs on Otto Black, another local guy, Toledo Rocket, being able to make it to the U.S. Open. Unfortunately, didn't make the cut, but he's got a big, bright future ahead of him because great people like Joe Graham are behind him. And speaking of which, did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners, just like we did, to get help with their home and auto insurance? Our friends at Legacy Partners, that's what they do. They help people out. They provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. They saved us a ton of money. Like, I'm one of those guys. Hi, I'm Sean for Legacy Partners. True story. Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you, and yes, help save you some money. Couldn't we all use a little bit of that at this time? Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're probably paying too much and you could be underinsured. So what are you waiting for? Give Legacy Partners a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, business insurance needs. They got your back like they had our back. Give them a call, 586-209-4106. That's 586-209-4106. Or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quotes. Trust me, Joe or Alex or Dave, one of the fine folks, are going to take care of you just the way that they took care of me. Blake, I don't buy for a second that teams are purposely losing games in the finals. I don't buy it for a second at all. Now, is it a coincidence that the Celtics got their skulls crushed after being up 3-0 in the series, and the Panthers got their skulls crushed after being up 3-0 in the series? Is it a coincidence that they both got them crushed? No, I don't think it is. I think it is human nature a lot of times to sit back and say, we got this. And the other guy doesn't want the indignity of a sweep, and especially in front of their own crowd. I do not believe for one split second, Blake, that either one of those teams tanked it for the opportunity to win at home. I think that silly talk. There's no way you're a professional. I think human nature is to back off a little bit and go, okay, the series is probably over. All we need to do is show up, and this could be a great party. But are you kidding me? To purposely tank it, I don't buy that for a second. Do you?
No. And to even go one step further, because there's always that guy that's like, oh, the NBA rigged it so that the series went longer, and all, the NHL wanted the series to go longer. Those games were so bad and such blowouts that the referees had no way, shape, or form any impact in those games.
Yep.
They were both smoke shows. And yeah, no, I agree. If you're a player, you're playing to win the game. You play to win the game. But it's human nature to, when you're up 3-0 in a series, to not take it as seriously.
Yep.
I think.
No, I agree with you. That's just the reality. Dave said NBA, who cares? But with Florida, no way they gave that game. I see Florida pounding Edmonton tomorrow. I don't think they would pull Bob when they did. More on that in a second. Nick says, hello, Oilers went nuts. Any news on the next DFN show? Shep and I are going to try to figure that out. The coach called it right away. Coach Hunter, as we were sitting there watching the game, literally said, I would leave Bob until a point, and then I would yank him. And he even brought up, he said, maybe at the end of the second period. We didn't get to the end of the second period. You think Bob's going to be pissed off? You think he's going to be a little pissed off? And he knows what everybody's saying, and rightfully so. He's heard it his whole career. Good Bob, bad Bob. Good Bob, bad Bob. Oh, bad Bob showed up. He's going to hear that. You know exactly the deal now. That guy's going to be absolutely, positively on point. It's crazy how you look at it, though. The way the Stanley Cup final has been, here it is, 3-1 Florida, an opportunity to clinch tomorrow night. Yes, we'll have our pregame show at about 7:20. Blake, goals for and goals against are 12-12. Go figure. 12-12.
Crazy.
That'll happen when you lose a game 8-1.
Yeah.
But everything came together for Edmonton. Good for them. They don't roll over and play dead. I say this all the time, and you and I were having fun with this because I was, quote, so wrong about game number 4.
You were completely wrong. I don't know what else to say.
I love when people call for sweeps, because the amount of times that people call for sweeps and the actual number of sweeps are two vastly different. It is not easy to pull a sweep off. It just isn't. It's not easy. Even in the first round of a series, that is, to sweep a best of 7 series in 4 straight is not easy. And so Blake said, you have to confess you were wrong about game 4. And I said, well, do I have to confess I was wrong about game 4? Or do I say, well, my original prediction was Florida in 5. I was wrong about game 4. So let's get that out of the way. But that, I don't predict sweeps. No. I thought Florida in 5, and I'm sticking with it. I think Florida's going to win tomorrow,
I feel really bad for anybody that had Bob minus 500 to win the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was at before that game, minus 500. And some sucker bet it. And then that game happened.
I think Barkov locked up the Conn Smythe. I do. I do. Let's say Bob comes out and pitches another shutout. It's like game 1, but he's got 35 stops or something like that. Maybe could you make the Bob argument? Maybe. I don't think so.
If you get pulled,
I don't think so.
You get pulled from a game after letting in 5. No shot.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Bill said conspiracy theories are a joke. We've all watched sports long enough to know that perhaps the best aspect of them is the unpredictability. That is the sole reason that the house always wins. Chris, I think once both teams got they then said, let's just finish this one up and get the next game. Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, it's not happening tonight. Well, is it exactly a crime and a tragedy if we lose this game? Something like that. But to say that you purposely tanked, I don't buy that for a second. It's the finals. Are you kidding to me?
It is a real shame that Skinner had his best game of the series, and that he didn't even need to have a great game, and he did have a great game. He only let in the one goal, and the one goal was, that was a great tip by Tarasenko, but he had his best game of the series, and they didn't need him. They scored 8 themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you know what? I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. There's always, sorrow for me.
So is it done tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. 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 Yes.
So I should take Florida?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
-1.5? Because we know how that worked out for me the other night.
Empty netter. How's that?
2 empty netters. One goes off the post. The other one's like a foot wide.
Yeah.
I was not a happy boy that night.
No. Sorry, buddy. You two, I'm telling you, you guys have no idea how much I have to put up with this. Well, when Mike and Blake start their little text things, and to me, it's I'm glad that they include me in them, because I like they speak a different language. It's kind of funny. I'm kind of picking it up on the fly, so to speak.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Do the Celtics -6.5 win tonight?
I think so. I'm going to take the Celtics and the under.
Me too.
The under's hit, I think, in every single game, except for I think it's hit in every single game.
Yeah.
Under's been the easy play.
Dave said, what if Edmonton runs the table? Ooh, in the Stanley Cup final, that would be historic for sure. No doubt about that. I'm a firm believer in when you go down 0-3, I know there are exceptions to the rule, but the series is over. We were talking about the other night. Remember when the Wings came back? They got down 0-3 to San Jose in 2011, and they forced Game 7, and then of course they had their hearts ripped out in Game 7. I think it was a 3-1 final. So that's
in what sport, in your mind, not looking at these series obviously because I think they're very different, but in what sport do you think coming back from a 3-0 is easier, in the NBA or in the NHL?
That's a good question. I guess I've never really thought about it. Maybe the NBA. Maybe the NBA. I don't know. More difficult? Maybe the NBA. Yeah, I think so.
I think so too, just because shooters can get hot.
Yeah. I think maybe the NBA. I mean, we've seen it, a few times, 42 and then 75. And then Philly did it to Boston in 2010. And then I was out in LA when the Kings came back on the Sharks in, I think, 2014. So at least it's happened a few times in the National Hockey League. But I mean, not a lot. Not a lot, What did it, Sean, what's your hat say? Spartan Varsity Hockey. How's that? Ray said, have you seen the Oilers record this year after losing 3 straight? Oh, Ray, you're not still doing it, are you? No, Ray, don't do it to yourself.
Keeping hope alive. I love it.
Don't do it. Ray, don't do it. Come on, buddy. There it is. 29-0 includes 16 straight wins they had. Yeah. They're coming back. Nick said, see, people care. Is the AC working? Yes, Blake's fine. His house is at a comfy 72 right now.
Mm-hmm. The window units are working overtime.
Yes. Ray said it's the Canadian in me. That's good. All right. Can I bring up Lindsay? Can I tell you about Lindsay? And then I want a couple other things we need to hit on. Did you know when it's time to buy a house, sell a house? You need to contact the right agent. There she is, Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business. When it's time to move, our friend Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and that everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyer, seller, first-time buyers, doesn't matter. Make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She will help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. I always like to say this, Blake, 68 days until college football starts.
It can't come soon enough. Man.
Not that I'm counting in any way, shape, or form, but we're only 68 days away. And I'm with you. It could not come sooner because for guys like you and me, first of all, the Tigers, enough said, just really enough said. And we're just not Summer Olympic guys. We're just not. Sorry. I mean,
people were very interested in the short that I put out, though, of us talking about the break game.
I like how you do those shorts things. I do.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Lions sign the USL kicker. You think it changes Campbell's way of thinking with a reliable kicker this year? No, I don't.
You think? How do we know he's even reliable?
Yeah, I don't think it does. I think you go with what has made you successful. I don't. I said it then and I say it now. I don't mind the aggressiveness because you know what it does? It shows the boys that you believe in them, and that goes a mile in the room. Coach trusts us in those situations. They swear by that stuff. They swear by that stuff. So no, like Blake, I remember talking about it. People are still debating it. There was one crazy call in my mind going back to that San Francisco game, but the decisions to go for it, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't. I don't then. I don't now. Dustin said doesn't use a kicker anyway, so no biggie. See, I feel the same way. Whatever. Like the guys believe or know that they believe in him. Let's go for it. I say go for it. I think that's what has changed hearts and minds, and it goes back to that C word, culture. I mean, that you want to change the culture, show the guys that you got their back. Show the guys that you got their back. Now, before all of you turn off, okay, because I'm gonna say 4 letters, and I'm terrified that all of you are gonna tune out as soon as I say these 4 letters. Okay, can you stick with me for a second because it isn't just about these 4 letters. I think there's a little bit of snobbery in all sports fans, if you know what I mean. But I'm going to use these 4 letters as an example. So don't you turn out on me when I say this, okay? Stick with me here, okay? By the way, he said, can you get early buys for NCAA 24? Best Buy here, still not available.
There's another month.
Okay.
It comes out July 18th.
Tim nailed it.
July 15th if you pre-order.
Tim nailed the 4-letter word. Please don't tune out as soon as I say the WNBA is the 4-letter word, okay? Listen, I know it's not popular to say this right now, but I'm going to say it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't ever envision a reason for me to follow, okay? I know we're all supposed to fall over ourselves and go, yay, it's a new era and Caitlin Clark and all that stuff. I'm not rooting against you. I wish you nothing but the best. It's not for me. Okay? Now that we got that out of the way, I'm sure I'm a sexist or mean or dumb or poo-poo head or, all those things. It's just.
What do you hate more, Sean? Dylan Larkin or women?
Clearly. See, we only lost one person. Oh, now we gained 2. Now we gained 3. So now we're not losing people, okay? But can we talk about snobbery in sports? Because I think the WNBA right now is putting on a masterclass on snobbery in sports. And here's why. Did you see Matt Leinart went out and made some comment about how Angel Reese, her flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark, she should be suspended, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever. Okay. So you had all these WNBA elitists just pile on Matt Leinart. You've never talked about it before. Oh, now all of a sudden you want to talk about it. Listen, do you want coverage or not? Do you want people talking about it or not? Here is a national guy. Your personal feelings aside, okay? Here is a national guy that put out a hot take, which is so cool today, your little hot takes, okay? He's making an effort to talk about your sport, and you people find a way to bitch and moan. Which one is it? Do you want the coverage? Do you want people to talk about it? Do you want it to explode? Which one is it? Because something tells me that nothing's going to make you happy. I got to be honest with you. Nothing's going to make you happy unless we all play pretend and go, yes, it's such a wonderful product, and this game is taking off, and they should all make $2 million contracts. And, oh, did you see the crowd? There are 597,000 people at every game. It is just the best. It's the biggest and baddest and best. I mean, Blake, tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, but and the thing that's, I think, different with this, and the thing that's tough is, first of all, like I said, we see it in other sports. Like UFC is just as bad as what we're talking about right now. If you're not a
100%.
UFC outsider and you try and comment on something about mixed martial arts, UFC
I was
guy.
there. I watched it in '95. I remember Tank Abbott.
I've watched every single one of his fights from amateur all the way to. Okay, cool, man. We get it. Yeah, I just watched the fight, the pay-per-view. I watched the pay-per-view, and I enjoy people getting their face beaten in. Sorry.
Hey, and let me say it again. Go back to the beginning of this, okay? I'm using the WNBA as an example. Hey,
yes.
hockey fans, yeah, I'm talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
You're
100%.
just as bad. It drives me out of my mind.
What
Blake.
the difference with this one is, and I talked about this before, the difference is there's people reporting on this sport that aren't sports reporters. They're writing up think pieces for the Washington Post and for the New York Times about how Caitlin Clark is racist or whatever the hell, like her supporters, all of it. There's a million and one think pieces about how this sport is changing the racial divide in this country and all this bullshit. That's the difference. We don't see that in other sports. That is why this has gone like to a completely different level, is because of all of that. It's become like a journalism think piece, easy throw at the dartboard, where there's people that cover sports for a living that they are the ones that are getting ripped on, but not the people that are writing these think pieces.
It is, Blake, I think you're right. Like, you're trying to turn it into something it isn't. And I'm serious when I say this. I'm not the human being. It's not my DNA. I don't root against anybody, including people I don't like. And my list of people I don't like is very small, but there are some names on it. I'm not rooting against anybody.
You want to name those names?
No. I think you know a few of them. But at the end of the day, best of luck. Seriously. Listen, I mean that. Best of luck to you. And the same thing with this WNBA product. Best of luck. It's not for me. I want nothing to do with it. I think it's drama. I think what I want to see, what was it, Chris? Chris, I thought what you said was awesome. Let me go back up there. You're only supposed to talk about it in a positive way. You can't critique the same way you do the men's game.
100%.
Bam.
Yep.
Bam.
Chris gets a gold star.
100%. Do you want the coverage? Here is a national guy in Matt Leinart who, hot take aside, is at least making the effort and trying to get some chatter going on Twitter. And you people, trademark Don Cherry, you people are hammering this guy. So which one is it? Which one is it? Do you want people to talk about it? Do you want to help it grow? Do you want to have conversation? Or should we all just shut up because we're not part of the chosen few? Well, here's the problem. Somebody needs to tell you that chosen few model hasn't really worked.
Yeah.
You need to try to grow this game in any way you can.
WNBA elite is a tough spot to be. That's a tough spot, man.
It's real.
No, but we even saw it in college football last year with Dion.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, the Dion thing was very similar to this.
Absolutely.
Especially with all the racial connotations, everything that went along with it.
Hey,
Like the Dion thing was super similar to this.
you and I talked about this. It was a great story until it wasn't. In week 1, they pulled a huge upset. Now, at the time, we didn't know that huge upset was going to be against a team that absolutely shat the bed. I don't have
TCU
to
didn't
throw it
even
in,
make
right?
it.
Can I say
You're
shat?
good.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I think you're good.
They
Yeah,
shat
TCU
the
didn't
bed.
even make a bowl game.
Right. So, but at that time, you had to give it to the cap. And then they won again. And you're going, damn, what's going on? And then they won again. Damn, what's going on? So it was a story until it wasn't.
Until the Stanford game.
Right. I love what he said there. Bill said Tank Davis. No, it was Tank Abbott, right? Okay, I was huge in the UFC when it first came out. Huge. And then I kind of got over it. Like, and again, no disrespect to you guys that love it. No disrespect. I just I don't know. I kind of got to it and I was like, all these fights kind of look the same to me now. It was fun to watch it first and cool. Best of luck. I mean, that doesn't mean, hey, Blake, what are you doing Saturday night? Oh, dude, come over to my house, watch it. Okay, cool. I'll go. But I'm not all in on that. And I don't pretend to be all in on that. But that shouldn't preclude Blake or me or anybody else from going, hey, dude, I watched this fight. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What? So let me get it. He's not allowed to throw an opinion out there.
I don't know if people realize this, but like our job and people in sports media's job is to talk about sports. And it's not just going to be pigeonholed to like Sean's not only allowed to talk about hockey, and I'm not only allowed to talk about college football. We have opinions on everything. Crazy.
Yeah. Social media is ruining women's sports with idiots behind a keyboard ripping on sports they know nothing about. Hey, listen, Ray, to that point, and Blake, I've said that one of the coolest events I've ever done. I'm serious. One of the coolest events I've ever done was the Women's World Championship.
Mhm.
It was awesome. To call that was awesome. And the best rivalry in sports, in my opinion, and it's not even close, is the Canadian women and the American women. It's not even close in hockey, okay? But I guess I'm supposed to be falling all over myself about how great this league is, and there's no way that it's going to fail. Well, it's nice that it goes into certain markets and it has its certain high points. But as my buddy Hubie pointed out, what about that random Tuesday night should Detroit get a pro team where it's, 7 degrees on a January night, Tuesday in Detroit? Like, then what? How many people are going to show up? Are you going to have the 15,000 that'll show up to a Red Wing game? Come and talk to me when we have that conversation. And again, I don't want one human being out there. I am 100% for Jenna and the University of Michigan to get that D1 team. And I promise you, as I sit here, I will go to those games and watch those games and cover those games because I am a hockey fan. But I think a lot of times this goes back to what Ray was saying, what Chris was saying. We're only allowed to talk in glowing terms. And, it's the Legoland song again, Blake. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Well, no, sometimes not everything is awesome. Sometimes, and that goes in any sport.
The whole thing, though, the crazy thing about, like, the whole WNBA thing is, like, Caitlin Clark, who seems like a pretty, like, normal, level-headed chick, just lives her life. Like, she doesn't really get into a bunch of the drama. But all the drama is about her.
And she downplays it at every turn.
Yeah.
Like, she really does.
Even
That's
that foul, she
game.
was like, it's a basketball play, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, she's a
Tim,
fantastic player.
This is one that I absolutely love. I'm going to get your back and Blake's back as well. I didn't go to the school, so I'm not supposed to be a fan of U of M sports. Now, can I take that to its logical? I had this conversation with a Detroit media member, and I'm not going to say his name, but I had this conversation with a Detroit media member who loves to play that card, okay? And I said, so by your logic, my 8-year-old son who lives and dies for Michigan State football is not allowed to be a fan. By your definition, because he's 8 years old, and he doesn't go to Michigan State. So because that's who he grew up watching because of his moronic dad, by your definition, any kid under 18 is just not allowed to root for a team. Get the out of here with that. It's such a bad take. It's such a bad take. I've never, ever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
Michael Huzak said, "Why would anyone be a Spartan fan?"
No, Mike. Sean, how about the Detroit Shock? I remember the Shock glory days. Are you kidding me? I remember those damn days. Brett said they call us Walmart Wolverines. I laugh. I mean, dude, I get it. You know, it's such a stupid take to me, though, right?
But it happened. Like, I don't understand. I think people like in this state think that everywhere else in the country, people go to these schools. Like, you're going to tell me all the Alabama fans and Auburn fans went to Alabama or Auburn? No, they didn't. It's a shocking news. There's a lot of Ohio State fans that, guess what? Didn't get into Ohio State.
Yeah.
They have a really good fan base. It's just how it works.
It never, sorry. I think that's such a horrific take. It's such a, you know what? I used to say this all the time. Okay. My generation, it was easy to be a Michigan fan growing up. They were the model of consistency, man. Seriously, you don't believe me? Look it up. 1969 to 2007. If your down year happened to be going 6-6 in 1984 with your starting quarterback out and still nearly beating the eventual national champion, BYU, you're living life pretty good. It was easy to be a Michigan fan. I get it. You know, for a guy like me going to Livonia Stevenson, there were a trickle of Michigan State fans. But let me tell you something. My senior year in high school, do you know how cool it was to walk around with a Michigan State shirt on, just smiling like the butcher's dog? Because it finally happened for Michigan State. You know, that was a magical fall, and they won the Big Ten and then went and won the Rose Bowl. And I bring this up all the time. Blake, I think people forget, up until the last few years, obviously, you look at my son, okay? I'm going to use Jack as an example. Jack and his friends, class of 2017, high school, class of 2018, right? Do you know what they saw? Do you know what they grew up with? Michigan State dominance. That's what they saw. It was world upside down. I asked my son, really and truly, I said, Jack, what was the first Michigan State game you remember? Okay. And he said, Mike Hart's big mouth. Like, that's what he said to me. The little brother game. Okay. So I want you to think about this. In my son's life, okay, going into his college years, he saw, here, let me do this. He saw Michigan win in 2007. Mike Hart's big mouth, trademark Jack. 2008 Michigan State. 2009 Michigan State. 2010 Michigan State. 2011 Michigan State. 2012 Michigan. 2013 ass whooping. 2014 ass whooping. 2015 trouble with the snap.
I really don't like this
2016
at all.
2017, 2018. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't like this segment at all. That's what you're saying.
Well, you're the national champion, so you can say that. You know,
that's very true.
And then you have people out there like Eric who like during that era were still stupid enough to drop Little Brother. Mm-hmm. Which made me giggle. I was like, yes, more, yes. I mean, come on. That worked in 2007, okay? After you got your poo shoved in multiple times, you might want to drop that, right?
Yeah.
And some of those games were really, really bad. But that's why, I mean, that's my long-winded way of saying I grew up in an era Where if Michigan State won every 3 years, we were all happy. We were, I mean, are you kidding me? And Blake, here it goes. Off the top of my head, Rain Man. Michigan State won in 84. Michigan State won in 87. Michigan State won in 90. Michigan State won in 93. Michigan State won in 95. Michigan State finally won again in 99. And then there was the clock game, and then there was the big era. So, yeah, I was happy if, oh, you kidding me? Every 3 years? Sure, great, whatever. That's Michigan. You aspire to be Michigan. And that's what was so weird about that generation around here is, you had a full generation of kids that not only saw Michigan State dominate Michigan, but you saw Michigan go from a period of time for 17 years without even winning the Big Ten. Yeah. I mean, isn't that crazy? It's weird how that works out. So
I like how we got from Caitlin Clark to this, just reliving all the pain that I've been through.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, whatever. No, but see, it's easier now though, right?
It's a lot easier when you got a natty.
Done the last 3 years.
By the way, did you see on Bally's the Tigers game? I sent it to you, so I know you saw it. They showed CJ Stroud in the bottom. They did the Blake bit, 0-2 against Michigan.
Yeah, that was funny.
I love that so much.
That was funny.
Oh,
no, this isn't even venting. To me, it's common sense stuff. Like, this is like, of course it was easier for kids to grow up around. You know what? Here's a secret. Don't let anybody know. You ready? Kids want to root for a winner.
That's why, but to bring it all the way around, that's why Caitlin Clark's super popular now.
Sure.
Because all she did in college was win. She didn't win a natty, but she was on these great winning teams and she won a lot of basketball games. And now, guess what? If she continues it in the WNBA and can make that team a playoff team and can win some WNBA championships, like, that is going to grow the game, and that's good for women's basketball in general. So, but all these think pieces and all these people that have never watched it or anything, it's crazy.
No, and I think,
did you break your thing?
No.
You were making a face. You had me scared.
No, my thing came unplugged.
Okay.
Brett said I rooted for Michigan because I hated my dad and he was an Ohio State fan. No, I mean, when Mike made the comment, who would root for Michigan State? He's not wrong. When I was growing up, you were crazy to root for Michigan State. Yeah, and then my sons, the crazy thing, and Mike, you know this living in Northville, there was a period of time where most of those kids were running around wearing Michigan State gear. It was weird because, again, kids want to root for a winner, and for years, Michigan State was the winner. Michigan State was winning the division or the conference title or something like that. So it's weird how that works itself out. So yeah, good times. Ray said if she went to South Carolina or UConn and not Iowa, she would have been just another women basketball player.
I don't know if I completely agree with that.
I mean, she's good, right? I don't know.
She's the greatest shooter in women's college basketball.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I don't know. I guess. Yeah, by the way, Mike, Northville baseball state champions. How about that?
Hit the button on your thingy. The applause. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to hold on a second.
I need to get you using those buttons more.
All right.
That's what we need to do. We need to put some more drops on there.
Yeah.
Winners.
Yeah. Tim said no natty, no high school titles. The thing people need to come to grips with is it can be a difference between great and popular. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. That's why I say again, it's like, listen, dude, you win a conference title. That's applauded. Good for Michigan. Good for Michigan State. Good for whoever. Of course you want more than that, but it starts there. And I think the dumb arguments in our state trying to detract from what the other guy's doing is just stupid. I've never understood that, Blake. It's like sometimes you shut your mouth. And I know not everybody shuts their mouth. I know that. All right. But I would hope anybody that knows me knows that sometimes you just got to give a tip of the cap and go, congratulations, Michigan. Like they just won a national championship. If you can't give love for that, dude, it's not their problem. It's not their problem. All right. Is there anything you want to rant about, buddy? I didn't really think it'd be a rant, but
No, you went off. I enjoyed it thoroughly, though. We got some old school Sean. No, I'm good. I mean, I'm in, like I said, the AC's working. The yard hasn't flooded in a couple weeks. We're in a good spot. Tomorrow's going to be a long day, but, things are good.
Can I tell you about our friends, Mike Husak and Jeff Husak?
Yeah, they're making fun of you in the chat.
Brothers? Well, Mike has been saving that up for years. I've had so much anti-Michigan rhetoric thrown his way. And you know what? He always took it. Now I have to take it. They're the national champions, baby. And if you're ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville and owned by two brothers with over 20 years of industry experience. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, getting ready to sell your company, or already in retirement, they can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life and have clients in over 20 states. The investment world is a complex one. So if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it might be time to work with the experts. Call those guys, the Wealth Advantage Group, at 248-773-8574, or view their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Nick said, is that the pool guy, Sean, the guy that let you use his pool? Absolutely. I think we were in Mr. Mike's pool more than he was. My daughter and I were just talking about that, like literally today. She said, we probably would have been in Mr. Mike's pool at like 9:05 in the morning. And I said, 9:02. We probably went, oh, okay, Mike's driving away. All right, time to jump in the pool. That's a true story. Ted said something earlier. He talked about the Canadian women and the American women. Part of the reason why the rivalry is what it is because of the amount of time that they play each other. 100% correct. Familiarity breeds contempt. Firm believer in it. 100. Ted, bravo. 110%. You are absolutely right. With both teams firing on all cylinders and being, routinely the two best out there, that certainly doesn't hurt. But I think it goes hand in hand. You got two of the best. They always seem to meet each other in the gold medal game or the world championship game. Absolutely positivity. Familiarity breeds contempt. Yeah, no doubt. I agree, which I don't understand sometimes the NHL and their scheduling. That's why I firmly believe we should get back to divisional playoffs. That's another rant. I'm going to shut my mouth. But so Blake, I'm
another hour.
No, let me ask you this before we get out of here, okay?
Mhm.
Seriously. All right. Who's the Detroit Lions' biggest rival? You answered the question. You did. You answered the question.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Your pause answer. Don't say it.
I'm not a Lions fan.
Northrop and I are going to get really mad at you. You are in. We've talked about this. But you get my point. Who is the Lions' biggest rival?
Yeah, it's probably the Packers.
Guess the Pack. I think the Pack. I think you might get a lot of people like me say the Bears. You might get some people say the Vikings, right? It's really weird. I don't think there's a definitive. If you would probably say Green Bay, and I wouldn't argue with you right now. Who's the Red Wings' biggest rival?
I would have said in my youth either the Blackhawks or the Blues. But nowadays, Nobody. Ottawa.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Who is the Red Wings? Who's the Red Wings' biggest? The Hawks still in the Western Conference?
Yeah, no. Tampa? I don't know.
I'm the same way. I don't know. I'm going down the list. Are you ready? Okay. Who's the Tigers' biggest rival?
White Sox.
I would have said Cleveland, but I'm not so sure now.
I was just going off of the whole Detroit Chicago thing.
District Detroit, maybe that's their biggest rival.
Working seats. Competent team.
Okay, the Pistons. Who's the Pistons?
That one's competent.
Right? I don't know.
Their biggest rival is a fan base.
I have no idea. Right? Yeah. 10,000 fans. That's just a bitter rivalry. Bitter rivalry. I often wonder how much of that goes because we aren't playing familiarity type of schedules anymore. I don't mind the old schedule where you're playing your divisional rivals 6, 7, 8 times a day.
Okay, but
a season. I don't mind it.
What you're saying is what's wrong with college football right now. I'm just saying. And we love that. We love college football.
You still have, the conference rivalries.
For our teams, yes.
Yeah.
If you're an Oregon fan.
But for a lot of the classic rivalries, before your time, pal, I still can't believe Oklahoma and Nebraska isn't a thing. That was can't miss television for me every year.
Mm-hmm.
That was seriously Oklahoma, Nebraska. Are you kidding me? Day after Thanksgiving, dude, I am all in.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I mean, that's coming back now, but I mean, the Apple Cup, the Civil War with Oregon and Oregon State, and luckily, I think both of those rivalries, they signed contracts to keep it going.
Right.
But yeah, Tony said Notre Dame and Michigan. I mean, stuff like that is kind of gone. Bedlam. I love Bedlam.
Michigan State. Let's be honest. I mean, that would, come on. Are you kidding me? All right. One more thing before we get out of here. I have to tell you all about catering. They have taken care of me and my family. Let them take care of you and your family because they are a full service caterer. Graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for from 25 to 4,000 people. Rick and his fantastic staff at All About Catering will take care of you. Customer service and satisfaction is their number one goal. Don't sweat your next big event. Let them sweat for you. Just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today. See their menus and all their 5-star reviews or call 586-731-1398. That's 586-731-1398 to get your event started. Let them take care of you the way that they took care of my family. Let me see. Tony said Notre Dame and Michigan. Absolutely. That was always, I used to have a list of games that were can't miss television. And that was one of my, if you listen to me on the radio, I said it for years. Notre Dame, Michigan. Absolutely. And I think a lot of people, Notre Dame, Michigan State, go the game of the century, evoking images of that. Absolutely. Blake, I think both you and I have something in common. We both respect the tradition and pageantry of college sports. And that's why Army Navy means so much as well. Let me see before we get out of here. I'm going to try to get in as many comments as I can. Jason said, I still hate the maple leaf from my youth. That will never die. 1967 bitch. Bill said, Bulls for the Pistons. Tim said the Yankees. All those playoff meetings, although, a lot of the younger generations now don't know. Dave said the Indians. I still call them the Indians. I'm sorry.
The I words.
Yeah, sorry. Tigers is Jimmy Key and George Bell. That was a great era, those battles with Toronto.
Oh, really you skipped.
What?
Tigers rival is Bally Sports right now.
Oh, jeez. Tim said the only real rivalries around here in college sports. Yeah, there's still some good ones. There's no doubt about that. How long before it's Michigan USC, Big Ten rivalry, or Ohio State USC? Yeah, it takes time.
Rivalries take a lot of time to really build up that animosity.
Familiarity, baby.
Remember when
Familiarity.
when the UConn coach tried to start a rivalry with UCF, the civil
Yes.
conflict?
Yes.
And he made a trophy and everything.
Yes.
I love that
Can't
guy.
just do it, dude.
Bob Diaco. Great
Detroit
coach.
doesn't have a real rival since moving to the East. Rivalries are made in the playoffs, and we all know Detroit hasn't been in the playoffs in what seems like forever. Couldn't agree with you more. Mason said Detroit sports barely have any rivalries now because of all the rule changes and safety precautions. Players aren't allowed to play as physical as they did back in the day. We went down the list. I mean, I think people would say the Packers by default as the Lions' rival. My generation, it was the Bears by a mile. Like for me and my friends, we hated the Bears because we wanted to be the Bears, Pistons.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. Like back then, to Mason's point, like it was everyone would say the Avs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the reason why that sticks out is the fight, the physicality.
Yeah. Ted, you are picking up what I'm feeding, baby. In the OHL, Saginaw plays Sault Ste. Marie, Flint, Windsor, 8 games each season. Familiarity. How great would that be, especially going back to my default mode is always hockey, as you know, and if it's not hockey, then it's college football. But how great would it be if in the Atlantic Division you saw these young teams that everybody think are going to be so good in the next few years, Detroit, Buffalo, Montreal, lesser extent Ottawa, start to play each other 6, 7, 8 times a year? How cool would that be? Especially the way those 2 crazy games, the Habs and the Wings played the last 2 games of the year. Man, how cool would that be? Especially if they both continue to go like this. Man, you want to talk about a rivalry. And then God forbid they actually meet in the first or second round of the playoff, right? Because you're back to playing those divisional playoffs. I'd be happy as a pig in crap. So
you know what we should do?
What should we do?
Next week when sports are over, because they're about to be. In my mind, we should do a list of like our top 10 college football games we're looking forward to this year.
Okay,
but no Michigan or Michigan State.
Twist my arm.
Like I can't have any Michigan games. You can't have any Michigan State games.
No,
we're just talking about games that we're excited about.
Twist my arm.
The other thing that we have to do soon that we talked about is with our friend David. We need to do a Broncos preview.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Bill asked, Blake, who's your NFL team? It's the Lions. Don't let them lie to you. It's the Lions.
Can we go outside of the bit for a second, though?
Yeah.
I don't have one. I've never had one.
The Bengals.
Right now, yeah, it's because of Joe Burrow, but it's not because of the team. That ownership group is a joke, too.
As Nick said, Blake should watch movies after sports is over. Oh, we're having a day. Oh, yeah. He doesn't even know we're having a day, but we're having a day. All right, we got to get out of here. Take care. Blake, we're doing pregame show tomorrow, the MHSA show Wednesday, I think golf show Thursday. Blake and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. See you. Bye.
Off the Air with Sean Baligian, featuring Sean Baligian and Blake Majchrzak. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Majchrzak. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Play It Loud by Jam Studio. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Off the Air with Sean Baligian on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.